The colony ship Eternal Dawn moved slowly through the empty darkness of space. It carried 50,000 sleeping humans in cold storage, dreaming of a new home on a distant world. Captain Park Jisoo stood on the bridge, watching the stars through the main window. She was a tired woman with gray hair and hard eyes. She had been flying ships for 30 years, and she had seen many strange things. But she had never seen anything like what was about to happen. The warning alarm screamed across the bridge. Kim Do-eun, a young man with nervous hands, looked at his screen with wide eyes. "Captain, we have contacts." "Many contacts." "They are not human." Park Jisoo walked to his station and looked at the display. 12 massive ships had appeared from nowhere. They were shaped like nothing she had ever seen before. Long and curved, covered in strange patterns that seemed to glow with inner light. Each one was 10 times bigger than the Eternal Dawn. "Open a channel," she said. Her voice was calm. It was always calm. Do-eun's fingers danced across his controls. "Channel open, Captain." A face appeared on the main screen. It was not a human face. It had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. Its skin was pale blue, covered in tiny scales. When it spoke, its mouth opened sideways instead of up and down. "Unknown vessel," the creature said. Its voice was cold and sharp. "You have entered space claimed by the Valori Dominion. You will power down your engines and prepare to be boarded. Your species is now property of the Dominion under the Universal Subjugation Protocol. Resist, and you will be destroyed." Park Jisoo felt something cold settle in her stomach. She had heard stories about first contact with aliens. In those stories, the aliens were usually friendly. They wanted to share knowledge and culture. They wanted peace. These aliens wanted slaves. "This is Captain Park Jisoo of the Terran colony ship Eternal Dawn," she said slowly. "We are peaceful explorers. We mean no harm to anyone. We are simply passing through this region on our way to establish a new colony. We ask for permission to continue our journey." The alien made a sound that might have been laughter. "You do not understand, creature. You have no choice in this matter. Your kind is small and weak. You exist now only to serve the Dominion. This is the natural order of things. Surrender your vessel, or we will take it by force." Do-eun looked at the captain with fear in his eyes. "Captain, their weapons are charging." "All 12 ships." Park Jisoo thought about the 50,000 people sleeping in the cryo chambers below, families, children, scientists and farmers, and teachers and builders, all of them trusting her to keep them safe. She opened her mouth to respond, but she never got the chance. The alien ship fired. The blast hit Cargo Bay 7. The hull broke open like paper. The air rushed out into the void, taking everything with it. Containers, equipment, people. 12 crew members died in 3 seconds, Do-eun screamed at his station. Red lights flashed everywhere. Alarms filled the air with noise. Park Jisoo gripped the railing so hard her knuckles turned white. "Damage report," she said. Her voice was still calm, but something had changed in her eyes. Something dangerous. "Cargo Bay 7 is gone," another officer reported. "We lost 12 people. Lee, Song, Calm, Moon." "Stop." Park Jisoo held up her hand. She would learn their names later. She would remember their names forever. But right now, she had work to do. The alien appeared on the screen again. That was a warning shot. "The next one will destroy your engine core. Surrender now, and we will kill no more of your crew. You have 30 seconds. Park Jisoo turned to face the screen. When she spoke, her voice was very quiet. "You killed 12 of my people. Unfortunate but necessary. You primitives must learn to obey. 20 seconds. The captain smiled. It was not a nice smile. It was the smile of a wolf looking at a rabbit that had wandered too close to its den. "Wake the Marines." Do-eun's face went pale. "Captain?" "You heard me. Send the signal to Cryo Chamber 17. Authorization code Alpha 77 read. Wake them all." Deep below the main decks, in a section of the ship marked with warning signs and locked with the strongest doors, something stirred. 200 cryopods began their warming cycle. Inside those pods were not colonists. They were not farmers or scientists or teachers, they were soldiers. Lieutenant Colonel Yunhana opened her eyes. Ice crystals fell from her eyelashes. Her muscles screamed as warm blood began flowing through them again. She had been asleep for 4 years, dreaming of battles long finished. Now she was awake. And someone had made a terrible mistake. The alien boarding party entered the eternal dawn through the damaged cargo bay. 80 warriors, the finest soldiers of the Valori Dominion. They carried plasma rifles and wore armor made from materials humans had never seen. They moved with confidence. They had done this 1,000 times before. Primitive species always surrendered. Primitive species always broke. The lights went out. The Valori commander barked orders. His soldiers activated their night vision. They could see in complete darkness. This would not save them. The first soldier died without making a sound. One moment he was there. The next moment something pulled him into the shadows. His friends heard his neck break. That was all. Then the screaming started. When the lights came back on 30 seconds later, Sergeant O Taiwu stood alone in the corridor. His face and hands were covered in blue blood. Around him lay 80 alien bodies. Not one of them had managed to fire their weapon. He pulled out his communication device. "Bridge, this is Taiwu. Boarding party eliminated. What are your orders?" On her command ship, High Admiral Tuvek stared at his screen in disbelief. His elite warriors, gone in 30 seconds, then a human voice filled his bridge. It was Captain Park Jisu. "You killed 12 of ours. We have taken 80 of yours. The debt is not yet paid." Tuvik felt something he had not felt in 200 years of conquest. He felt fear. The Grand Council chamber on Kethros Prime was the largest room in the entire Dominion. It could hold 10,000 beings at once. Today, only the 17 council members sat in their floating chairs. Arranged in a circle around a single figure on the floor below, his name was Voss. He was a Rithani warrior, 7 feet tall with 4 arms and skin like stone. His people were famous throughout the galaxy for their strength and courage. They feared nothing, but Voss was shaking. Grand Arbiter Soleth, the leader of the Valori Dominion, leaned forward in his chair. He was an ancient being, his blue scales faded to almost white with age. He had ruled the Dominion for 300 years. He had seen many things. He had never seen a warrior shake like this. "Tell us what happened," Soleth commanded. "Tell us everything." Voss tried to speak. His mouth opened and closed several times before words came out. "We entered their ship. 80 of us. The best soldiers in the fleet. We were not worried. They were small creatures, soft, no claws. No armor. We thought it would be easy." He stopped. His 4 hands clenched and unclenched. "Continue," Soleth said. "The lights went out. Complete darkness. We activated our night vision. We could see everything." Voss made a sound like breaking glass. The council members recognized it as Rithani crying. "We could see, but it did not matter. They moved through the dark like shadows, like ghosts. We could not track them. We could not hit them. They were there, and then they were gone, and then one of us was dead." "They killed all 80 warriors?" asked Council Member Maleth, the Dominion's intelligence director. She was a thin creature with too many joints in her arms. "Not all." Voss touched his chest. A massive scar ran from his shoulder to his hip. "One of them caught me. A female. She was smaller than any of us. I hit her with all 4 arms. I broke her bones. I heard them break. She should have died." He looked up at the council. His eyes were empty. "She did not die. She looked at me with my blood on her face, and she smiled. Then she cut me open with a piece of broken metal. I fell. I could not move. I watched her kill 3 more of my brothers before she finally collapsed. Even then, she tried to crawl toward another soldier. She was trying to kill him with her teeth." Silence filled the chamber. Director Maleth spoke first. "One warrior with broken bones killed 4 of our soldiers before falling?" "She did not fall because of her injuries," Voss said. "She fell because she ran out of blood." Her body simply could not function anymore. But she kept trying. Until the very end, she kept trying to kill us. Grand Arbiter Soleth turned to his intelligence director. What do we know about these creatures? Malef activated a holographic display. Images appeared in the air above the council chamber. A planet covered in blue oceans and green land. They call their homeworld Earth. We have analyzed the captured data from their ship. She paused. What we found is very disturbing. The display changed. It showed the planet's surface. Volcanoes erupting. Massive storms covering entire continents. Oceans filled with creatures that had too many teeth. Earth is what we call a death world. The gravity is extreme. The weather is violent. The planet is covered in predators. Most species that evolve on such worlds die out quickly. They cannot survive the constant danger. But humans survived, Soleth said. They did more than survive. Maleth's voice was grim. They conquered. Every predator on their world is now dead or locked in cages. They killed everything that threatened them. And when they ran out of predators to kill, they turned on each other. The display showed images from human history. Malef had to explain what they meant. War, genocide, weapons that could destroy entire cities. The council members watched in growing horror. Their bodies are designed for violence, Malef continued. They have extra organs that they do not need. If one is damaged, the other continues working. Their bones can heal themselves. Their blood can seal wounds automatically. And they have a chemical called adrenaline. What does it do? Asked a council member. In moments of danger, their bodies release this chemical. It removes their limits. They become stronger, faster. They can ignore pain completely. They can continue fighting with injuries that would kill any other species. Voss spoke from the floor. The female who attacked me. I broke her arm. She used that broken arm to stab me. She did not even seem to notice. But that the most dangerous thing about humans, Maleth said, is how they hunt. Most predators chase their prey until the prey escapes or fights back. Humans do not do this. They chase their prey until the prey dies. Not from being caught, from exhaustion. They simply follow their target, hour after hour, day after day, until it cannot run anymore. They call it persistence hunting. Grand Arbiter Soleth sat back in his chair. He was beginning to understand what his admiral had awakened. They do not just want to win, he said slowly. They want to chase. They want to hunt. And they never stop. Never, Maleth confirmed. Their history shows this clearly. When humans decide something is their enemy, they do not stop until that enemy is completely destroyed. They will sacrifice everything. They will die by the millions. But they will not quit. Soleth made his decision. These creatures are a Category Omega threat. The first in 6,000 years. We will send the extermination fleet. 400 ships. We will find their colonies and burn them to ash before they can spread. Director Maleth nodded. I will give the order. Far away on a small blue planet called Earth, Fleet Admiral Beek Sujin received the intelligence report. The old man read it carefully. 400 warships were coming to kill his species. He should have been afraid. He should have been worried. Instead, he smiled. Finally, he said to his empty office, a real fight. He pressed a button on his desk. Get me the War Council. Tell them we have work to do. Humanity had not asked for this war. But now that it was coming, they would show the galaxy what a death world creates. They would show the galaxy why nothing else survived. The message reached every human colony at the same time. Every screen, every radio, every communication device carried the same words. The Valori Dominion has declared war on humanity. All citizens are called to serve on the farming world of New Bizan. Lee Yuna stood in her kitchen and watched the message play on her small screen. Her two children sat at the table, eating breakfast. They did not understand what was happening. They were too young. Yuna was 34 years old. She had brown hair and strong hands from years of working the soil. She looked like a simple farmer, but she was not simple. Before she came to New Bizan, she had served 3 tours in the Outer Rim conflicts. She had killed men with her bare hands. She had watched friends die in the darkness of space. She thought those days were behind her. She was wrong, Mama? Her daughter asked. Why are you crying? Yuna touched her face. She had not realized she was crying. I have to go away for a while, little one. I have to go help some people. When will you come back? Yuna knelt down and hugged her children. She held them tight, breathing in their smell, memorizing the feeling of their small bodies against hers. She did not know when she would see them again. She did not know if she would see them again. Soon, she lied. I will come back soon. 1 hour later, she walked into the recruitment center. She was not alone. The line stretched around the building and down the street. Farmers, teachers, doctors, shop owners, all of them ready to fight. All of them ready to die. The Terran military had 2 million active soldiers before the declaration of war. 1 week later, they had 40 million volunteers on the command ship Unconquered. Fleet Admiral Beek Sujin met with his war council. The room was full of the most dangerous people humanity had ever created. Killers and geniuses. Monsters and heroes. Commander Shin Mai-rei was a small woman with short black hair and eyes that missed nothing. She had written the book on human space combat. Literally, every ship captain in the fleet had studied her tactics. Major Quan Jinho was a large man covered in scars. He ran the Special Operations Division. He had survived the Titan Station massacre, where 800 humans fought off 10,000 enemy soldiers. He was one of only 12 who walked away. Dr. Han Yun-ji was old and thin, with white hair and gentle hands. She looked like someone's grandmother. She was actually the most dangerous person in the room. She had created the Hellfire Protocol, a weapon so terrible that even Admiral Beek did not fully understand it. The enemy fleet will arrive in 6 weeks, Beek said. 400 ships against our 50. They expect us to meet them in open battle. They expect us to lose. We will not do that, Mai-rei said. It was not a question. No, we will give them something they have never seen before. We will give them a proper welcome. The planning took 3 days. When they were finished, every human colony had its orders. Civilians were moved to underground bunkers. Cities were turned into fortresses. Every building became a weapon. Every street became a trap. The Valori extermination fleet arrived at the first human system 6 weeks later. High Admiral Tuvok, still burning with shame from his earlier defeat, commanded from his flagship. He had 400 warships. He had 2 million soldiers. He had weapons that could crack planets in half. He expected resistance. He expected fear. He found silence. The human colony on Kepler 442b was dark. No lights, no signals. No defensive fleet. The planet looked dead. Scan for life forms, Tuvok ordered. Scanning, his officer replied. A moment later, his face went pale. Admiral, there are humans down there. Many humans. But they are not moving. They are just waiting. Waiting for what? No one answered. No one knew. Tuvok made his decision. Send the ground forces. 50,000 soldiers. Take the colony and secure the planet. The dropships fell from the sky like metal rain. They landed in the empty streets of the colony's main city. 50,000 Valori soldiers poured out, weapons ready. Nothing happened. The soldiers moved through the streets. Every building was empty. Every door was open. It felt wrong. It felt like walking into the mouth of a sleeping beast. Then Private Cho Sunwoo pressed a button in his hiding place, and the beast woke up. Explosions ripped through the streets. Buildings collapsed on top of entire platoons. Hidden guns opened fire from windows and rooftops. The Valori soldiers tried to form defensive positions, but there was no safety anywhere. The entire city was designed to kill them, and then the humans came out of hiding. They came from underground tunnels. They came from secret rooms behind walls. They came from beneath the streets themselves. Thousands of them. Armed with everything from plasma rifles to kitchen knives, the fighting was brutal. The Valori had better weapons and better armor. But the humans had something else. They had rage. They had hatred. They had the terrible fury of a species defending its home. The lorry commander cornered a group of human fighters in a warehouse. He had 200 soldiers. The humans had 20. It should have been easy. Surrender, the commander ordered. You cannot win. Drop your weapons and you will be treated fairly. An old woman at the front of the human group laughed. Her name was Grandmother Bay. She was 73 years old. She had never held a gun before this war. Surrender? She said. Boy, I have lived through 3 famines, 2 plagues, and 1 very bad marriage. You think I am afraid of you? She raised her weapon and charged. After 72 hours of constant fighting, the Valori had lost 38,000 soldiers. They had not taken a single human prisoner. Not one. The humans did not surrender. They did not run. They fought until they could not move. And then they triggered the bombs hidden in their own bodies. Private Cho Sun-woo was 19 years old. He had been a student before the war. He had wanted to be a musician. Now he crouched in a ruined building, surrounded by dead aliens and dying friends. A Valori squad found him. 10 soldiers against 1 wounded boy. Sun-woo smiled. He held up a small device. My grandfather killed Nazis, he said. My mother killed pirates. And I get to kill you. He pressed the button. The explosion destroyed an entire city block. High Admiral Tuvok watched from orbit as his army died. He had come to exterminate primitives. Instead, he had found something else. He had found the wolves. And the wolves were hungry. 3 months into the war, and the Valori Dominion was learning what fear truly meant. They had expected a quick victory. They had sent their mightiest fleet to crush a primitive species. Instead, they had lost 200,000 soldiers and 47 warships. The humans were not breaking. The humans were not surrendering. The humans were getting stronger. Dr. Han Yunji worked in her laboratory on the research station. Hope. She had not slept in 3 days. Around her, screens showed data from captured Valori technology. Their engines, their weapons, their shields. All of it laid bare before her tired eyes. Her assistant, a young man named Yang Jihan, brought her another cup of coffee. Doctor, you need to rest. You will make yourself sick. Yunji took the coffee without looking at him. I will rest when I am dead. Or when they are dead. One of those will happen first. She had been studying the Valori faster-than-light drives for weeks. The alien technology was advanced, far beyond anything humans had created. But Yunji saw something the aliens had missed. A flaw in their design. A way to make it better. There, she whispered. Her fingers danced across the keyboard. There it is. 2 weeks later, the first human ship equipped with the improved drive made its test flight. It jumped further and faster than any Valori vessel. The pilot, a woman named Go Minseo, laughed with joy as she appeared on the other side of the galaxy. Admiral Beak, she reported, we have a new toy. And it works. Fleet Admiral Beak Sujin received the news in his command center. For the first time in months, he smiled. The war was about to change. He called his war council together. We have been defending for 3 months. We have bled them. We have hurt them. But now it is time for something new. He brought up a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked Valori positions. Blue dots marked human forces. Operation Nightmare, he said. We are done waiting for them to come to us. Now we go to them. Major Quan Jinho grinned. His scars stretched across his face like cracks in old stone. Finally. My people have been getting restless. Your people are monsters? Commander Shin Mairei said. She did not mean it as an insult. Junho's special operations soldiers were the most terrifying fighters in the human military. They volunteered for missions that no one expected them to survive. They completed those missions anyway. Take 500 of your best, Beak ordered. Your target is the Valori supply depot at Station Keth 7. It serves 60 warships. Destroy it, and the soldiers guarding it? Deal with them as you see fit? Junho nodded. He did not need more instructions. He knew exactly what to do. The raid on Keth 7 became legendary among both humans and Valori. 500 human soldiers against 3,000 alien defenders. The humans used the new drives to appear without warning. They hit the station hard and fast, moving through corridors like water through cracks. Major Junho led from the front. He always led from the front. His soldiers watched him break a Valori warrior's neck with his bare hands, and they fought even harder. But the humans did not just destroy the depot. They left messages, written in Valori blood on the walls. "We are coming," carved into the command center floor. "Nowhere is safe." Broadcast on every frequency as they left. "The hunt has begun." Commander Shinmai designed the terror campaign. She understood something that the Valori did not. War was not just about killing. War was about breaking the enemy's will to fight. Human ships began appearing in Dominion space without warning. They would destroy a target and vanish before reinforcements could arrive. They attacked supply lines. They attacked communication stations. They attacked anything that moved, and they started capturing Valori officers. Those officers were not killed. They were shown things. Human history. Human wars. The terrible things humans had done to each other over thousands of years. Genocide, nuclear weapons, biological warfare. Cruelty that had no limit and no purpose. Then the officers were released. One captured officer, a high-ranking Kathrani named Zulith, was found dead in his quarters 3 days after his release. He had killed himself rather than deliver his report. His final words were recorded on a small device beside his body. "They are not warriors. They are not soldiers. They are something else. Something worse. They call themselves survivors. They survived their own world. They survived their own history. They survived everything the universe threw at them. And now they have decided that we are the enemy." His voice broke. "They do not fight like we do. They do not stop when they win. They do not stop when they lose. They simply do not stop. They will chase us to the end of the galaxy. They will chase us to the end of time. And when we finally fall, they will stand over our bodies and ask why we ever thought we could beat them." The recording ended. The Valori Grand Council met in emergency session. The 17 species that made up the Dominion were beginning to fight among themselves. Some wanted peace. Some wanted to keep fighting. Some blamed the Rithani for starting this nightmare. Grand Arbiter Soleth sat in his chair and listened to them argue. He had ruled the Dominion for 300 years. He had never seen anything like this. His empire was crumbling, and there was nothing he could do to stop it. Then a servant entered the chamber. He carried a small box. "Grand Arbiter," the servant said, his voice shaking. "This arrived by courier. It is addressed to you personally." Soleth opened the box. Inside was a head. His nephew's head. His nephew had commanded a Dominion battlecruiser. Now his nephew was dead. Beneath the head was a note written in the Valori language. The handwriting was careful and precise. "Dear Grand Arbiter Soleth, you wanted to meet the apex predator of a death world. Congratulations. Now you know why nothing else survived. This war will end when you decide to end it. Until then, we will keep hunting. We will keep taking. And we will keep sending pieces back to you." Your friend, Fleet Admiral Beek Sujin Soleth, stared at the note for a long time. His hands were shaking. His hearts were pounding. He was the most powerful being in the galaxy. And he was absolutely terrified. 1 year after first contact, and the Valori Dominion was dying, 5 species had left the coalition. They wanted no part of this war anymore. 3 others had secretly contacted humanity, begging for separate peace. The Great Dominion fleet, once 400 ships strong, had been reduced to 180. Humanity had paid its own price. 18 million dead. 2 colonies completely destroyed. Cities burned to ash. Families torn apart. Children who would grow up without parents. Parents who would never see their children again. But humanity was not broken. Humanity was stronger than ever. The fleet had grown from 50 ships to 300. New soldiers joined every day. The factories worked without rest, building weapons and armor and ships. The scientists created new technologies that made the Valori look primitive in comparison. And now, finally, humanity was ready to end this war. Fleet Admiral Beek Sujin stood on the bridge of the Unconquered and watched the final fleet assemble. 280 warships, 2 million soldiers. The largest military force humanity had ever created. Their target, Kethros Prime, the Dominion capital. The heart of the enemy. "All ships report ready," Commander Shinmare said. "We are waiting for your order, Admiral." Beek closed his eyes. He thought about everyone who had died to bring them to this moment. Captain Park Jisoo, who had started this war by refusing to surrender. Private Cho Sunwoo, who had died laughing. Millions of others whose names he would never know. "Begin Operation Reckoning," he said. The human fleet jumped. They appeared in Kethros Prime's orbit like ghosts from a nightmare. The Dominion defenders scrambled to respond, but they were too slow. Human ships cut through their formations like knives through paper. General Yoon Hana commanded the ground assault from the landing ship Thunder. She had been a lieutenant colonel when this war began. She had been promoted 4 times since then. Not because she wanted power, because everyone above her kept dying. "All units, prepare for drop," she ordered. "We hit the capital city in 10 minutes. Take the palace. Capture the Grand Arbiter. End this war." The dropships fell. Kethros Prime's capital city was ancient and beautiful. Towers of crystal and metal rose toward the sky. Gardens filled with alien plants spread between the buildings. It had taken 10,000 years to build. It took 3 days to burn. The Valori fought harder than they had ever fought before. They were defending their home, their families, their entire civilization. They died by the thousands, but more kept coming. The humans fought harder. General Yoon led her soldiers through the streets. She had not slept in 2 days. Her armor was covered in blood, both red and blue. Her voice was hoarse from shouting orders. "Push forward," she commanded. "The palace is 3 blocks away." "We are almost there." A Valori warrior charged at her from a side street. He was massive, 8 feet tall, with 4 arms and armor that could stop a tank round. He swung a blade that hummed with energy. Yoon stepped aside. She grabbed his arm. She twisted. The arm broke. The warrior screamed. Yoon took his blade and cut his throat. "Keep moving," she said. She did not even pause. In orbit, Captain Park Jisoo commanded the battlecruiser Revenge. She had named it herself. The ship had taken heavy damage. Fires burned on 3 decks. Half her crew was dead or wounded. A Valori dreadnought turned toward her. It was huge, bigger than anything in the human fleet. Its weapons could destroy her ship in a single shot. "All hands evacuate," Jisoo ordered. "Get to the escape pods, now." Her first officer grabbed her arm. "Captain, what are you doing?" "My job." She pulled free. "Go, that is an order." The crew ran. Jisoo stayed at her post. She aimed her ship at the Dominion command station and pushed the engines to maximum. Her final transmission was heard by every ship in the fleet. "For the 12, she said. The Revenge hit the command station at full speed. The explosion lit up the sky. On the surface, Dr. Han Yunji stood before a control panel. The Hellfire Protocol was ready. One command, and she could destroy the entire planet. Burn Kethros Prime to ash. Kill billions of Valori in seconds. Her finger hovered over the button. "No," she said. Admiral Beek's voice came through her communicator. "Doctor, is there a problem?" "We are not them," Yunji said. "We are not monsters. We came here to end a war, not to commit genocide." Silence. "Then what do you suggest?" "Targeted strikes only. Military installations. Government buildings. We destroy their ability to fight, not their ability to exist." More silence. Yunji waited. Her whole body was shaking. She had spent her life creating weapons. Now she was refusing to use the biggest one. "Agreed," Beek finally said. "Targeted strikes only. We will win this war, but we will not lose our souls." Commander Shinmire trapped High Admiral Tuvik's flagship between 3 human battle groups. There was no escape, no hope. The Valori admiral knew he was going to die. He transmitted one final message to the human fleet. "We were fools," he said. "We saw your small ships and soft bodies and thought you were prey. We never understood the truth. You were never the prey. You were always the hunter, waiting for something worthy to chase. I hope the universe will forgive us for waking you." His ship exploded. Grand Arbiter Soleth surrendered the next day. The meeting took place aboard the Unconquered. Soleth, ancient and tired, sat across from Admiral Beak. The human looked old too. War had aged them both. "How?" Soleth asked. "How did you do this?" "We ruled the galaxy for 10,000 years. We conquered 1,000 species. How did you defeat us?" Beak leaned forward. His eyes were hard and bright. "You conquered 1,000 species," he said. "We survived our own world. Every plague, every ice age, every extinction event. We survived. We killed every predator that hunted us. We tamed every force that threatened us. And when we ran out of enemies on our world, we turned on each other just to stay sharp." He smiled. It was not a kind smile. "You did not start a war with a species. You started a war with evolution's masterpiece. A creature designed by 4 billion years of death to be the last one standing." 5 years later, General Yoon Hanna stood before the memorial wall on New Bizon. 80 million names covered the black stone. She knew many of them. She had fought beside them. She had watched them die. Lee Yuna walked up beside her. The farmer had become a colonel during the war. Now she was retired, back to growing food and raising her children. "Hard to believe it is over," Yuna said. "It is never truly over," Hannah replied. "We just get rest between fights." A young Valori approached them. He was a diplomat sent to formally apologize for his species' role in starting the war. He looked terrified. Yuna studied him for a moment. Then she extended her hand. The Valori stared at it. "It is called a handshake," Yuna explained. "Humans use it to greet friends." "Friends?" The Valori's voice shook. "After everything we did? The war is over. Now we learn to live together." Yuna smiled. "Take my hand. It will not bite?" The diplomat reached out. His hand was cold and scaled. Yuna's was warm and soft. They shook. "Your people," the Valori whispered. "You are terrifying only to our enemies." Yuna squeezed his hand gently. "To our friends, we are the best thing in the galaxy." Above them, human and Valori ships flew together, keeping peace, building a new future. The war had changed everything. The galaxy would never be the same. But some lessons last forever. Some creatures are not meant to be conquered. Some creatures are not prey. Some creatures are human, and the universe will never forget it.